Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Round 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Nox Aero's defense. We grade on 5 different criteria. Who are using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. Nox Aero has some pretty big teams. He has been a loyal supporter of the stream and the channel, and even in the Discord, he's been sending me some good pics of teams and stuff like that. All awesome content, and I very much appreciate that. If you want to be a part of the conversation, whether it be in Discord or on Twitch, be sure to check out the links in the description. We stream every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to noon on the West Coast, and you can always catch me in my Discord with other people theory crafting and doing lots of fun stuff. Let's jump into team number 1 here. It's a Merc defense with Surfer. This is actually a pretty potent defense. Surfer can throw in that RNG that'll screw up a lot of teams that come into this. You know, it's basically got like a 20% chance of ruining your day. So I do kind of like this. It's a new twist on an old team, and frankly, I think he's doing almost everything right here. The only thing I'd like to see is changing Killmonger to a striker. Also, yeah, the Merc Riot Guard is a little bit small for this team, but I think he's still big enough that you could probably take him off a Fortifier. It's going to make him tough to get through. I mean, it's your choice whether you want to do these guys as strikers or not. Now, the reason he's got Taskmaster adjacent to both of them is because he thinks that it's probably best to get deflex and healing when people target him. However, that is a fallacy. Yeah, fallacy. Falsity? Fallacy. I don't know, words. Anyway, I think he needs to go Killmonger, Riot Guard, Lieutenant, then Taskmaster, and then Surfer. Here's why. Taskmaster is a hot target, but having deflex on him is usually a bad thing because that just means that if an X-Force team comes into it, he definitely will block, which means that X-23 is going to attack again and just end up doing more overall damage to him. So you don't want him adjacent to Merc Riot Guard. You want him adjacent to Merc Lieutenant for the healing. Now, you want Merc Riot Guard adjacent to Merc Lieutenant because there is adjacent healing going on with Lieutenant, and when he draws that taunt, he's going to be getting hit all the time, which is going to make Lieutenant heal, and Riot Guard will throw out deflex, I believe. Anyway, that's the placement you want. It works better that way, trust me. I'm going to give him a B+ for this team. I want that one ISO change and that one placement tweak. Moving on to team number 2. This is a Brotherhood 2.0 with Doom. It's a pretty standard team. The reason he has this is because he has the YA at the back of his roster, and he is hoping to draw in that X Factor with Zemo team. So in his roster, utilizing the full YA team, this is a fantastic choice. If you're not running a YA team, then this isn't anything to get excited about. Also, take a look at what's going on with your alliance. If your alliance has a lot of YA teams, even if you don't, this is still a great team to run because you want to soak up those X Factor Zemo teams. Or I should say it'd be Rhino Factor that goes into this. But anyway, it'd be taking the X Factor out of the equation. So that's a great pick. Now, he has Doom as a Raider instead of a striker, and that's great. I've tried both. Honestly, I can't tell the difference. The crit happens so rarely with Doom that it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. I almost do like striker better on Doom, but I don't think so. And so with having everybody putting out vulnerables, he made Blob a striker because there is a chance, like everybody's gonna have vulnerable on the opposing team with this setup. And so with the Doom and his bots putting out Disrupt and Magneto putting out that one Disrupt, there is a pretty decent chance that Blob will attack into someone who has Disrupt and a vulnerable, and he'll come back in for that basic and rewind some turn meter. So it's a thing he can do. Personally, I like having, I think on my favorite choice would be having Doom as a striker and Blob as a skirmisher on this team. And that way Doom is double tapping on every attack, but Doom's kind of slow. So it doesn't really matter. You can go this way or you could flip it. The thing to remember is that Blob works well as a striker when you run him on the Doom or on the Brotherhood 2.0 with Pyro, because Pyro puts out tons of disrupts and you get to pilot the team. So you're rewinding turn meter for him as a striker. On defense, most of the time, I think he should be a skirmisher. I'm not going to dock him for this because it's so close. It's minuscule and it kind of works. It's not worth it for him to change it. But personally, I prefer striker on Doom and skirmisher on Blob for this team. Also, I think he should trade places with Juggernaut and Doom. That way, or no, I'm sorry. How do I want this to go? Let's trade places with Doom and Blob. That way Juggernaut gets the deflex and Doom gets the deflex. And who cares about Magneto? Magneto's going to open up early and then he doesn't really have a purpose on the team. Like he's got one job really, and he just doesn't do damage good enough to really matter on this team. So placement change, I'll go A- on this. I don't care so much about the ISOs. Team number 3 is a skill military team. Personally, I like this team better for offense if you have the T4s in them. If you don't, put them on defense because no one knows what T4s are in this team. I like the placement. I like the ISOs. Everything here is just fine. I'm going to give you an A for that team and move on. Team number 4 is Web Warriors. Again, good ISOs, decent placement. You could argue a placement change with... Nah, it's not even arguable. He's important. He's important. She's important. You have them in important person placement, so it's good enough. So I'm going to give you an A for that team and move past it. Okay, here we have the Axemen. Now, I've seen 2 different styles of placement on this, and I want to explain both of them to you. I prefer this placement. I prefer this placement with Bishop in the middle and Iceman and Kitty on either side, because Iceman and Kitty both have mechanisms in their kit that keep them from getting destroyed quickly. If Kitty goes below a certain threshold, she goes invisible. So unless you're going to one-shot her completely off the map, it's okay to have her next to Bishop. And same thing with Iceman. He has a revive mechanic, so if he gets killed, he comes back. So I like both of them next to Bishop because then you have 2 people that go below a threshold, giving that turn meter to Beast and making him work a lot faster. Then you put Beast and Jubilee as far away from Bishop as you can, and I think that works great. Also, when you have chain mechanics, they're starting on Bishop, and they're only getting half the team. So I think that's another good way to do it. The alternative, and this is an arguable tactic, is to put Bishop on one side, and then go Iceman, and then Kitty, and then Jubes, and then Beast. And it's the same reason you're putting your most important people as far away from Bishop as you can, and Iceman revives and Kitty will go invisible if she goes and block people from getting over there to Beast and Jubilee. So it's a thing you can do. I prefer this one. I don't dock people for the other because it's a pretty minuscule choice. Same thing with the ISO choice on Jubilee. I prefer Striker. Skirmisher has a great amount of value, so it doesn't matter either way, it works. A for this team. Good job, and moving on. Team number 6 is the Black Order. The only thing I don't like about this team is that I prefer Thanos to be something other than a striker on this, because you've got 3 strikers and 2 people putting out vulnerables. So maybe making Thanos a raider for the crit damage would be a better choice. He has a lot of... like, he has decent synergy with all 5 ISO classes, so it really doesn't matter. I'm going to go A- for this team, but we're kind of splitting hairs on that ISO change. Striker works okay too. It's just, I think you're going to get more value out of the crits off of the Raider. Team number 7 is the New Warriors with Ghost and Shuri. Here's why we're doing Ghost instead of somebody like Emma or Drax. Ghost has that turn 2 alt that prolongs negative effects, which is going to go off probably after Cloak, before Dagger does her alt. However, Shuri could give like a 1 in 5 chance that Shuri gives the energy to Dagger. I don't know if that percentage is right. There might be I'll have to read that kit. But the idea is that hopefully Shuri gives the energy to Dagger, and Dagger alts on turn 1 also. And so you're putting in Ghost so that turn 2, she prolongs all those negative effects. Here's the thing. The teams going into this are probably going to be dead if that plays out. Like, if it's alt and then alt, the opposing team's probably going to be dead before she needs to prolong anything. I'm not sure if you get a ton of value out of it. It's a good setup. I like it. I like how it plays out in theory. But a different version might be, let's take out Shuri, throw in Chavez, and put Chavez adjacent to Dagger and and Ghost. And here's why Dagger and Ghost instead of Cloak. They're going to look at this and go, haha, those stupid idiots, they didn't speed up Cloak, so they go in and ability block Cloak. Meanwhile, Dagger gets to turn 2 way faster than they expected and still throws out negative effects like blind and does a metric buttload of damage. And then right behind that is that turn 2 ultimate prolonging those negative effects. And it might work a little bit better. That's the theory on paper. Might not play out that way, but it's an alternative if you want to try one of those speed meta teams. As is, I like the placement. I like the ISOs. You have 3 strikers, 1 skirmisher, but remember, these 2 are putting out tons of vulnerables out of their kit, so it still kind of works. And then you did Shuri as a fortifier, and you know what? It's time to start making Shuri a fortifier if we're going to be running her in those Doom raids, those high-end Doom raids. She needs to be able to take a hit and not get 1 shot off the field. That's why that's happening, and that's fine. You're not really putting her in for the heal. You're putting her in for the defense up on turn or that energy off the beginning, so it works. I like this team just fine. There are better builds in my opinion, but I'm going to give this one the A. Team number 8 is the Infinity Watch. Is what it is. I think it belongs on offense, but if your alliance is okay with it, then away you go. The only thing I don't like is, you know what? I was actually thinking about this. I actually do kind of like making her a skirmisher on defense because it's going to help her to clear those positive effects and clear more positive effects on her turn. She doesn't do a whole ton of damage, so having her do those combos with Nebula, you're not losing that much. I just don't think she's that valuable. She's more valuable to remove positive effects than to do damage. And so putting that on there helps that cleanse effect work, and it helps her attacks do more cleansing. Plus, it's more vulnerables on the field for the team to do more damage and stuff like that. So I think it's a good choice. I'm going to go ahead and give you an A for this. I kind of want to give you an A- because I like this team on offense better, but I'm going to assume there's a purpose for it. Leave it on there. Give you the A for the team. Placement doesn't matter so much. It's looking pretty good. Team number 9 is the YA team, a full YA. Noxero is ahead of the curve by taking Miss M off the outside. You got Chavez next to these 2. I think that's great. I like everything I'm seeing here. There's arguable other placements that we could be doing. There might be some other ISOs we could do. You could take this team to 2.3 if you wanted to on the ISOs, but there's no need to. The team's doing what it needs to do. So I like what you got going on here. I'm going to give you that A. Good job. And finally, H for H. And again, he's ahead of the curve. He's got Luke Cage off of the corner for that Dark Hunter team, so we're not getting the disrupts. Now, the only thing I have a problem with on this team is I think that we need a total overall placement change. I like putting Misty Knight and Iron Fist to the outside. And then I like Shang-Chi, then Colleen. Okay, so it's gonna go like this. It's gonna go Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, Colleen Wing, Luke Cage, Misty Knight is the placement that I think is the overall best. I was looking at the team's kit last night, going over every little detail that I could possibly think of. I like Colleen Wing next to Luke Cage because when she has deflects, she does some counterattacks, and that'll help get out some more damage. Misty Knight is probably the one you need to worry about the least, getting the second least that you need to worry about getting the disrupt on. So you put her on a corner, and then Iron Fist is the most worthless character on this team, so he gets the other corner, so that either one of those gets the disrupt, which is probably going to be Misty. I would go into Misty if I was doing it. That's the one getting the disrupt. Then they're chaining across, flipping all those positive effects to negative effects and putting trauma and all that stuff. And then, yeah, so I think that's going to be the best placement. I'm going to start telling people to do that from now on, but I'm going to go ahead and give Nox the A for this team because it's pretty good. I just don't like the Shang-Chi on the corner for sure. He would definitely be a hot target for that disrupt if I went into this team. But we're still in the early days of getting that all figured out, so I'm not docking people on that one. So an A for that team. Yeah, this has been Noxero's Defense Up. If you like what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe for more videos. I'm trying to get out at least 6 of these every week. And remember, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.